Hey everybody, this is a clip from the latest episode of the Randi Rhodes Show. If you want the full episode, you can watch live on Free Speech TV, Dish Channel 9415, DirecTV 348, Sling, Roku, and Apple TV.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
We are still 46 days away from Election Day, but the wait is over for voters in 4 states. Early in-person voting begins today in South Dakota, Wyoming, Minnesota, and Virginia. CNN's Kristen Holmes is live at a polling location in Fairfax, Virginia. So how does the turnout look?
Allison, this is absolutely remarkable. I'm going to take a step out here so you can see the line. This is the first day, but it is clear that election season is in full swing. You can see hundreds of people here. And what you can't see is that actually inside the government building, it loops around and snakes. So they're trying to keep people socially distant in this line. We had someone just come out and say that the building itself is at capacity. So if people could please be patient. Now, I spoke to one woman, asked her why it is that she came out so early to vote. She said she knew that there was going to be a lot of interest in this election. She assumed there was going to be something like this many people. But this is remarkable. I spoke to a woman who has been working elections here in Virginia for 20 years, and she said she has never seen turnout like this on the first day. They knew there would be a little bit of a crowd, but as you can see, we are now walking yards away from that government building, and the line continues on. So just quickly here to recap, we are at the beginning of the election. We have 4 states that have now started in-person voting. You mentioned them. It is Minnesota, Wyoming, here in Virginia, and South Dakota. Several other states are sending out their absentee ballots. And this is really going to be a temperature check for Americans to see how they feel comfortable voting in this unprecedented election.
Hey, it's Friday, you bastards, and you can vote. You could vote in 4 states. In four. We're here. They're back. Voters, they're showing up. Fairfax County, that's what that reporter was covering over there. That's one of the most Democratic counties in all of Virginia, which is for lovers, you know. And they were all wearing masks. So, you know, you figure out who they showed up to vote for. This is good news. This is great news. The bad news. The bad news is we are at 198,055 dead Americans, quickly approaching 200,000 dead Americans. We will probably see a death count somewhere on Sunday or Monday that hits 200,000. And the President of the United States is about to speak about it. He ran to, a little teeny town, which he couldn't even pronounce the name of, because it was in a teleprompter. And he couldn't pronounce it. And he asked somebody, please tell me the name, at the very end of a completely rambling, bizarro world, untruthful fire hose of lies. And why is he in Minnesota? Why? Why is he there? Well, because he's losing there. And they started to vote today. So this explains a lot of his activities. Meanwhile, what you have happening at the White House is really, really without precedent. No one has ever seen this many, let's call them disgruntled employees, because that's what Donald Trump calls them. We've never seen so many people be so disgruntled as they voluntarily quit on Donald Trump. See, Bill Barr yesterday, when he was complaining about the babies, the Montessori school babies that he has to work with inside the Justice Department, he was complaining about them being babies because they're quitting on him. See, because he's politicizing justice, the Justice Department. Right? He's doing all kinds of lunatic, fringy things for Donald Trump. The Flynn, throw out Flynn's guilty pleas, the Roger Stone 7 felonies, jury found him guilty of 7 felonies in like 7 seconds, and he wants, he wanted that thrown out. But barring actually the president commuted Roger Stone. You had all the prosecutors on that case resign. You have the Durham report that these QAnon freaks are like waiting for. And the prosecutor in Connecticut that Durham handpicked, that he requested help him. Please come and help me do this investigation into the investigation of Donald Trump. She quit. She resigned in protest because it's being politicized. And so Bill Barr ended up calling them babies. Well, what's happening in the Trump administration proper, the coronavirus task farce has been proven to be a task farce. Numerous people from the Department of Homeland Security have already quit. You know, Miles Taylor, who was the chief of staff over at the Department of Homeland Security, a dyed-in-the-wool, adorable young Republican. He quit. Dan Coates quit. You had Kelly and Mattis talk to Bob Woodward and say this man is unfit. This man has no concentration. He has absolutely no ability to absorb facts or to make difficult decisions. They've been called disgruntled. Miles Taylor, he's been called disgruntled. Rex Tillerson, who called Donald Trump early, an effing moron, he's been called disgruntled. Gary Cohn, who said, don't start some stupid trade war. You're going to kill you'll kill farmers. You'll kill dairy farmers. He has been called disgruntled. Michael Cohen has been called disgruntled and a liar. Mary Trump, Trump hardly knew her. That's his niece. Hardly knew her. And then Mary Trump's tapes had Trump's own sister, Mary Ann Trump, saying that he only cares about himself and that how stupid is he? How completely stupid is he? Right? And now we have another major figure in the Trump administration who was on the team to fight the pandemic, who was part of, in the room, the coronavirus task force. She was the deputy assistant to Mike Pence personally. And she was interviewed by the New Yorker, by Susan Glasser in the New Yorker. And Susan Glasser said, this woman, who's only like 43 years old, she was just at the peak of her career, she's terrified. She's literally terrified. Now, Miles Taylor, who worked over at DHS as the chief of staff, that's a very high position, as you know, because Flynn was, Kelly was chief of staff to the president. So chief of staff is like as high as you can go in an organization without being the director. Anyway, Miles Taylor was saying the same damn thing. He can't focus. He doesn't have the ability to understand problems. He only thinks about himself and all of this, right? And then he was asked, why don't people speak out? Why don't they speak out earlier? Why didn't they? He said, we probably should have, but, we get death threats. The president literally employs these people that follow him to do violence, to threaten families, to go to their houses, to threaten them with long guns, like Gretchen Whitmer, right? She was threatened to be beheaded by a white militia that showed up at the Capitol in Lansing, and, nothing was done. That was perfectly okay. It's as long as you're on Donald Trump's side. So people are afraid, and Susan Glasser actually interviewed Olivia Troy, who is the newest major figure on the task force, to come forward and say, Trump didn't give a damn about you. In fact, he hates his own supporters. He thinks they're disgusting people. And he thought COVID might be a good thing because then he didn't have to touch them. He didn't have to shake their hands, these disgusting people. Now, Hillary called them deplorable, and that was the shot heard around the world. But Donald Trump literally loathes his own supporters to the point where he's willing to kill them because they're just flotsam and jetsam in his world. He'll make more. You know what I mean? It's just so sick. I'm going to play you, she put out an ad, and just before this ad went live, I wish they would have left the music out of it. It just doesn't, it takes the seriousness out of it, just saying Washington Post or whoever put this thing together. I guess it's Republicans, Republican Voters Against Trump is the group. Don't put music under this. Don't produce it up. Just let it be what it is. Anyway, I'm going to play you, when it was just about to go live, she told Susan Glasser, I'm terrified. I am so scared for my family. I'm so scared for me, but I have no choice. I have to do this because he's dangerous.